Hello everyone, this is Big Benedict. This is the first fight of Chapter 5. We're in the Italian city of I just don't know where. We have Wolf's Castle in the distance. I do know that this fight is pretty tough because it involves mages, and if you get knocked in the water, they're not going to hesitate to fire their fire geysers in the water and just kill you, because this game, kind of like Vanquish, when I was doing that game, I'm still doing it, you know, people that were following that guide, I will beat the final the bosses, and get my checkpoint and deal with the other bogey, but I'm telling you, it's really tough, and it just comes down to, you know, what you have more experience with. Like this game, I don't even break a sweat when I play this game, and I could easily beat this game any day of the week. It's you know, but with Vanquish, that game kicks my ass, that boss fight. And I have a couple of people rooting me on, and a nice guy, I think he's from overseas, he made a video for me of how he does it, and he does it straight up. Really skilled, much better at that game than I could ever possibly be. But same holds true for this game and other people. Like, you know, it just depends. It is nice to have bragging rights, and it is nice to be able to show people that you're really good at a game. Like this game, it's nothing. It really isn't for me, but I know for a lot of people it is, and I don't want. I guess I can't help but sound arrogant a little bit. Now, these beasts here, they yield 1050 per kill. So, I'm sorry, but I every time I do this guy, I can't pass that money up. I'm sorry. I'm gonna sell out for that price tag on these beasts' heads. Watch out for that charge, though. It's unguardable, and it will almost end your life. So, yeah, just bear that in mind. When I say this game is easy, I'm not trying to minimize or patronize people or minimize their suffering or whatever, but just realize that I'm not, whereas I'm very skilled in this game, I'm not good at other games, you know, like Metal Gear Rising. It's in this genre, but I'm not good at it. I could get good at it, but at this point in time, I hate it with a very strong vehemence that maybe will never die out. But that's just me, and if you can't accept that, just move on. This channel's not for you, you know. And a lot of other people will probably say, dude, stop fucking playing Ninja Gaiden 2. It's old. But this game is so good that I can't stop playing it. But this will be my final campaign. I've considered doing a live playthrough, but it just doesn't work for my lifestyle. You know, I just don't like it, and it's hard to edit, things like that. Now I'm gonna head back. I upgraded my lunar to level 3, but yeah, I love this game, and other people play other games. Some people just play like one game. They'll just play League of Legends. Some people play Dark Souls constantly. You know they'll have a Dark Souls channel. And how is that any different from what I'm doing? And I don't play this game all the time. This is only my third guide for it. I've played a lot. If you look at my playlists, I have pretty diverse content. It's just really hard for me to find a third-person game these days. But this is important here. What you want to do, what you have to do actually, is hop on the gondola, hop off, and then go back on to spawn the enemies. Because once you get back on, then they spawn. It's really bad because they lure you over here with the crystal skull. But once you get the crystal skull, everything's out of the equation because you're never going to come back onto that gondola because the crystal skull is on this gondola here. So they want you to. They're luring you. It's just weird. They're luring you over here. These blood Gajas, who are very tough. They're very tough, and the deadliest enemy in the game, my most hated enemy in this game. because they're hard to fight, and I spent a lot of time trying to be good at these guys, but it's that second attack that you can get the parry on right there. Now we're gonna head up. We got the Kasari Gara, or however the fuck you say that. I don't even like that weapon. I think it's a piece of dog shit. Anyway, strong terms I throw around. I'm very blunt when I speak. You know, if I think a game is trash, I am gonna either just call it trash or I'm gonna put a screwdriver through it like I did Metal Gear Rising, because it was more cathartic for me and more satisfying rather than to send it back and get my money. Well, I wouldn't have gotten all my money back, but it's just, oh man. When I play a game, I want to evade with a dedicated evade button. I don't want to do an offensive defensive, and I want to press one button to guard, and maybe there is a way to do that. I was seeing somebody do that. I get a perfect guard. I just don't know. All I know is I hate Metal Gear Rising right now. I'm interested in maybe learning how to play it later on down the road, but I've already tried to play it a couple times, and I can never get past it. It's very tough, but I don't know. I'm trying to be more open-minded about games, but there will always be a picky part of me that just can't get over some facets of a game. And what I'm really excited for is next February 26th, on Tuesday. I can't wait for Lords of Shadow 2. I'm getting so impatient to play that game and beat it on Prince of Darkness difficulty, which I believe is the hardest difficulty. And I'm just gonna shit that game out, man. That game is gonna be so easy for me, and I hope it's hell of hard. I hope it's 10 times how hard this game is, because I want to suffer and then rise. You know, rise out of the pits of fire, like I was trying to when I was trying to get good at this game. Because there was a time, believe it or not, when I never thought I would be able to beat Warrior mode, or not Warrior mode, Mentor mode. Warrior wasn't very hard. But this chapter is not too bad at all. It's just dealing with these lycanthropes. It's kind of irritating. And anyway, getting grabbed. What else was I thinking? Oh, by the way, if you want to do that particular animation, you press forward Y to do that. There goes the perfect parry. I'm going to twirl the camera and come back up here. I'm going to get that, which is replacing the one I use on the Alexei boss fight. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I've just kind of realized how unfair that Alexei boss fight is. But when I say that, I don't mean that he's unfair in this game. I mean he's unfair in Sigma 2, getting grabbed instantly and getting killed. Now, when I was rewatching my, there's really nothing I enjoy more. I know this is just an ego trip, but there's nothing I enjoy more than finding out that my video is done processing and it's viewable on YouTube, and I sit down and listen to my own videos, even if it's like chapter 4, it was like 56 minutes. I sat down with an alcoholic beverage and I listened to my program. I just love it. I know I bring some valuable content to YouTube, and it's enjoyable, and I just love listening to myself, I guess. I'm just I don't know. I'm not a narcissist. I care about other people more than I care about myself, usually, but I truly hate Sigma 2 for what Hayashi's done. And you look at, I mean, Hayashi had the blueprint to make a masterpiece. He had this game to do it. And then what does he do? Under his helm, we had like the uttermost piece of shit. Not even a Ninja Gaiden game, you know? It's like, how the fuck can you make such a shit-ass game? This guy did it. And I didn't believe that he could make such shit again. And we're looking at a game called Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z. You know, like, how the... I mean, fuck. We're already sick of zombies, and these hardcore fans of the series, like myself, man, just stop making shit, or just get the fuck out of that office, man. You know? There's never gonna be a game like this again from Team Ninja. Never. I mean, the best we could look for is The Devil's Third, and I don't even know if that game is coming out. It's just rumors that I'm hearing. So when a game like Lords of Shadow 2 comes out, you know, that's my game of the year. Definitely. More than any other game. But anyway, here we have some mines here. These were taken out of Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. But all you have to do is don't even aim. Just auto aim. Just auto fire. And I kept this in real time. But the next session I won't keep in real time. Now, the mines, there are never any... Well, I suspect there are infinite spawning mines in the jungle when we get to Heart of Darkness. But on this chapter and the mines after Zidonius, those are not infinitely spawning mines. But I do suspect that there are some in the jungle that never cease to spawn. What you want to do here is very slowly swim up to this location and then just auto. And just never aim. You never have to aim. You never need that little red dot reticule to tell you where to shoot, because it'll just shoot automatically. And these guys go down in about 5 hits. So they just gave you the Gatling spear gun, and now they're throwing these guys at you. Just, you know, kind of put it together in your head. Why did they just give me this weapon, and now why are they throwing these guys at me? The answer is very clear. They gave me this weapon so I could kill these guys. Pretty simple. You know, pretty simple deduction. But they actually are females. But let's see, this guy, a couple of guys left. And don't even worry if they run past you, because Ryu will just go twirl around and shoot them. Now over here, this is the location of a crystal skull. Well, it was the location of one of those. But I'm going to put this in fast forward. The only reason I had that reticule on the screen was because I moved the left analog stick, and I didn't want to. But I'm just... what you can do if you want to get these orbs, just stop firing, and some of them, the nearest ones to you, will come into your person. Otherwise, you're probably going to miss out on some, unless you go to that nearby gondola and drag the essence over to yourself. But that's how that works. And now, once we get to the save point, we're going to be dealing with some Van Gelfs, and then after that we'll be dealing with some lycanthropes. Okay. Did a backflip right there. And now here are the Van Gelfs. If you want to just check my other guides if you want to see different ways to do these, because what I've been trying to do is to do differently than my previous guides. Not all the time, but you know, in some instances. Because some ways that these scenarios are played out, like the ways that I've been doing them, it's just, you know, even though it's repetitious, it's the best way to possibly deal with the situation. And I don't like to deviate from that too much. But this game is just utterly fantastic. I mean, I can't see many problems with this game. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you do get grabbed, but that's just part of, you know, you don't have to get grabbed if you're careful enough. You don't have to get grabbed. And yes, there is recovering from moves, but the enemies have to recover from moves too, and they don't get all the iframes that you get. So it's more than a fair game, in my opinion. But anyway, I would definitely save it after this, because there is an opportunity after this to get a lot of money. So you will see me switch weapons over here. I'm going to use the DC, what's it called? The Dragon's Call type DCTF. take care of these guys, and undoubtedly it's the best tool to use on these guys. When you're in the animation and you're doing the, what noobs call it, that super attack, supercharged up attack, you can move Ryu and direct his slashes to different enemies. It doesn't work that well. I mean, you could see him shift occasionally, but it's not as flexible as I would want it to be. So here, those darker skinned ones, those are the lycanthrope beast leaders. They have a little bit more HP and they're more deadly. So I'm going to switch to this because there are many times when I'm doing this that when I release my Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang, it doesn't hit anything, because this weapon, up until the moment you stop the animation, anything you hit, even that final hit, it'll kill people, which I like. Okay, so I think I might head back into that room now. But this is just pure greed. This chapter and the next chapter, it will be a little bit boring because I'll be doing this quite a lot. But since my campaign is one where I haven't been grinding for money, I am going to be availing myself of this technique to get a lot of money, because each one of these is, like I said, 1,050, and there's a ton of these guys. However, I would like to warn you, this store here is the last store for a long time, and after the next save point, there is a really brutal gauntlet of, I think it's 30 of the blood Gajas, 5 at a time. And after that, you have to go through the wine cellar, and there are Beastmen. I think there's Beastmen, and but there might not. I think it's all Van Gelfs, but I can't remember because I have two sets of memories every time I play this game, and I get confused because the games just overlap. I think there's even more foes. Was that the last? Oh, yeah. You might want to have some arrows for this kind of thing too, just to make sure you can get your kill here without rousing that guy from his trap. But anyway, you know, what the things that I was saying in the beginning of the video, and I apologize for speaking over some of those confrontations, but just kind of realize that I'm not playing these games because I want to show off every single time. I do enjoy playing well, you know, because a lot of the times when I'm playing well, in between, I'm suffering and I'm losing, and I'm trying to overcome what's killing me all the time. And you never see that because you only see my success stories here, and you know that's kind of the only way this could work. Because there really is nothing I like, nothing I hate more than watching people die in guides. They just don't know what they're doing. I mean, you don't make a guide and have deaths in it, because why would I want to see a death? That doesn't help me do anything. And I really don't even watch guides unless they're interesting. People commenting, in an interesting way with a guide. And if you want to see who I'm subscribed to, I don't keep my subscriptions hidden on YouTube. I think that's really stupid, the people that do that. I don't think they should be allowed to do that. People shouldn't be able to conceal whom they're subscribed from. Like, you can't do that on Twitter. So, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to get a Life of the Gods. It's number 8 of 18. So we need one more to be able to get a health upgrade. And I have 8 and then 3 of those. And I have 40,000 in essence. So now I'm going to switch to the Gatling gun, which I already did. And then just kind of swim carefully up here. And I think I get thrashed a little bit up here. But you see how he was aiming over in the opposite direction? I don't know what that was all about. Sometimes the auto aim isn't the best, but for the most part, it's this machine gun here, the spear gun, is extremely powerful. It doesn't have a very threatening sound effect attached to the weapon, but you'll know when you kill these guys so fast that it's really working for you. Now these mines here, like the other ones we were facing before, they're not infinitely spawning. So I'm going to put this in fast forward and just show you that they're not infinitely spawning. It takes a while to kill them all, but they do cease to spawn. But like I was saying, some of the things I was mentioning in the beginning of this video, I'm just a picky gamer, and it's so hard in this day and age to find good third-person action games, or let alone good third-person shooters, because first-person shooters dominate the market. And I don't play first-person shooters. I refuse to play them because I want to see my character when I'm playing. I don't like the perspective of not being able to see my character. It doesn't fly with me. It's unacceptable. I want to see my fucking character when I'm playing the game. You know, who's with me? I'd be interested to know if there's any other people like that who just flat out refuse to play first person, whether it's like a Dishonored game where it's not a shooter, you know, anything first person, out. That's what I put on my channel description, and that's that. So another one of those. Now we have 4 of those to use. I'm just going to save them till I need them. So in a lot of respects, this is a no upgrade run, health-wise, because I've only applied 1, I believe, maybe 2. I think only 1 though. Just be very careful. There's 4 of these brutes down here, and you just don't want to get mauled here and lose all the progress. And then after the save point, we'll be doing the gauntlet that I was mentioning, versus those blood Gajas. There's 30 of these blood Gajas, so be very careful here. I'm going to start out by doing a lunar 360 UT. And these guys are very dangerous. I believe that this weapon is the best to deal with them, because not many weapons ET will actually kill an enemy, but with the 360 ET for this weapon, it does, and you should definitely avail yourself of it, because you don't have to be vulnerable for very long, and it just outright kills them. So you should definitely have daggers for this section and magic, and this is a tough gauntlet, I must say. The reason I always advise against using the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang is because when you come off your UT, you're extremely vulnerable, and in the time you need to recover, you can be hit by the tail slash of these enemies and killed if you're not at full health. So if you're ever not at full health, like after this, I would definitely say heal. You know, even if you don't want to waste the item, just heal, because this is a long fight and you don't want to have to do it over again. I had to do it over 1 time because I got slashed by the tail. It's really deadly. So all I'm doing here is throwing daggers, charging essence. I'm not bothered with making money here. This is not about making money. That slash right there, you have to get out of the way of that. It has a large area of effect where you can get hit by it. Those first couple of pokes that they do, those are parryable, but I'm just always cautious about getting in the way of that final tail slash. And they also have a grab, which will almost kill you, and if you have about as much health as I do, you will get killed by it. So do a jump right here. I didn't cross the tripwire point, and maybe that was all well and good, because the Lunar's 360 UT will carry Ryu over to the enemies past the tripwire point, and in so doing will spawn the enemies, so you can end up attacking them, and you'll probably kill them, because it's UT. That final hit always is a one-hit kill. So now, yeah, this is a hard gauntlet because it's strictly the Blood Gajas and the Van Gelfs. It's just these guys are the big problem. There is another iteration of these guys. They're another female type, and they're a brown color, and they have less HP. Like, you have to do 2 Azuna drops on these guys, and also be very careful coming into the environment. These guys get trapped behind corners, and they get trapped behind doors, just inadvertently. Like this guy over here, for instance. After I do a bit of shopping, I think, was he trapped the whole time? He must have been. But what am I doing here? Just getting some daggers. You'll want to get daggers, especially if you're doing the Test of Valor. It's one of the hardest Tests of Valor in the game. So, was this guy trapped? No, I think I have to spawn these next guys, and then I shoot them right through the wall. And it's kind of funny because in the next chapter you can... I did the trick in my last... It's not really a trick, it's just that all of the Gajas spawn in Wolf's Castle, and you can shoot them right through the door. And they're kind of helpless. It's just kind of fascinating to observe the AI in this game. It's extremely advanced, but there are problems with it where you can definitely tell that it has some scripting problems. For instance, like in the last chapter when the IS Ninja was just running forward as they're wont to do, but I'm being very careful as I come in here. And then I see this guy through the wall here, and there's a little bit of an edit because I was trying to shoot him on the side, but I just shot him through there, and that roused him. That caused him to unstick himself from where he was, stuck behind that corner as he were. And this tripwire, I already crossed it and spawned those enemies, so there are no enemies here. I'm going to spawn the enemies to the left. I haven't done this before, but what I want to do is... I swore this must have been the take where I died. But maybe it's not. Okay. There was a couple of takes here. But I would really strongly encourage you to throw daggers. Okay, I thought I had spawned those enemies first, but maybe that was one of my death takes. Or maybe I spawned them after this fight. Let's see what I end up doing. Also, the wind run is a great indicator of where enemies are, so Ryu will always jump in the direction of enemies when you're doing the targeted homing jump, as it's colloquially referred to as. So if you're unsure of any enemy, without having to actually move the camera or anything, just do the wind run, X plus A. The only problem with that, though, is you don't want to end up jumping right into an enemy who's about to swipe at you with his tail. These guys here, or these gals, excuse me. But just be extremely liberal with the daggers. And in that, in the doorway right there is the flaming phoenix. So I shouldn't have even have gotten it. Don't need it. And there's a lot of these guys up here. There is that spawn, and then there's another spawn as you go into the wine cellar. I use the Nimpo here because these guys were literally backing. They had burrowed underground and trapped me, so I had guys in front of me and behind me. But this was a little... You see how much health I have? That would mean death if I get hit by the tail slash. Death and then some. So I'm being a little... being a little stubborn here, as I usually am. I think you might see me use the homing jump. See, I'm using the homing jump. And we have more enemies, too. So, just one more batch of enemies. And it's hard to do these ones here with the charge because they've already spawned, and see, I messed up the charge. Then I'm trying to think what you get from the Test of Valor. Sometimes the jewels of the demon seals are very worth it too to do it. Could be lives of the 1,000 gods. Those are always great. The life of the gods are never in the Test of Valor. They don't make you do that. Looks like there's one more guy over here though. I think I did the Y parry. I don't know what I did right there. But the level design in this game is really excellent, as well as all the beautiful set pieces. I mean, nothing really tops this game in my opinion. So, if you want to get this, yeah, there really is no use for it. So, but I'm of the mentality, might as well get it. You know, you don't want to regret not having something down the line. But anyway, we're going to jump on down here. Make sure you go back to the store and get all your supplies, because there is no store until you go to the next chapter. So, hit the save point right here. Okay, then moving right along, we have another battle here with some blood Gajas and some gold Van Gelfs. Before I move on, I need to speak about the chests, and this is going to sound convoluted. I'm going to try to put it in as simple as I can, but coming up we're going to have a chest, and it's not a dynamic chest, meaning that it doesn't give you the same thing every time. It's a conditional type of chest that depends on what your inventory is, and it also depends on what your health gauge is reflecting at the current time when you actually open that box. So I'm going to be avoiding the chest. And the reason for this is because I have I have 3 herbs of spiritual life. It's going to give you an herb of spiritual life, conditionally speaking, that is. But the problem is, even though I have three herbs, I have damage on my person. Do you see that on the upper left? Were it not for the damage on my person, the chest would yield 5,000 in essence, equating to what 1 costs in the store. However, if I had no damage on my person, but 1 herb short of 3, the other chest would yield an herb. So what I need to do is to return to the chest when my health is full to get the 5,000 in essence. And if it sounds like I'm reading off a card, it's because I am. This is so complicated that I had to write it all down. Now, there are 1, 2, 3, there's 4 boxes in this area. Excuse me. But what we need to do here is listen for when these guys go in for their attack, and then let them grab you, let them drown you down here, and then mash buttons, and then immediately start tapping on the B button. The problem about this is that you're going to be tempted to get some of these pieces of essence. My goal here was to completely refill my key gauge and completely refill my health gauge so that I can manipulate that chest that I just spoke about. Now I'm going to leave this, I think I leave this in regular speed, but there are 3 encounters. Basically there's an encounter nearby every box, so if you just go by the box areas, it's not set in stone that way, but you'll know when a session is over, one of the 3 or 4 sessions, just depending on what you want to do. Down here you'll know a session is over when all of the essences just immediately go into you very quickly. So we're just going to wait out that. See, I know a session's done. So now I'm going to resurface, and the rest of this is going to be in sped up footage because it's the same thing over and over again. I'm listening for the Ghostfish, let them drown me, and I do take risks occasionally. If I sense a lull in the fish attacks, I'll stop pumping on the gun and get my essence. It's very risky, but if you do it, I mean, it's kind of based on luck, but I mean, the problem is you can't move the camera around while you're firing the gun. So my health is at max, and now I'm going to go to the 3rd. It doesn't really matter too much where you go. You just need to run around in the general area where you suspect that there's going to be some ghost fish, So I think that was 3 sessions right there. I sped it up so quickly that it looks like it. But now that you see my my health is maxed out, and I have 3 herbs of spiritual life. Do you see that right there? Now, because of those 2 factors, and those 2 factors alone, this is going to give me 5,000 for the herb. Now, what I'm going to do is, you should save your progress, jump on down. Now, the next chest yields for me, when I say me, it yields for me 7,000 essence because my grains of spiritual life are maxed out. The chest is programmed to give me a grains of spiritual life. However, if I have 3 grains and I have no damage on my person, it will give me 7,000 in essence. You might be wondering, what if you had 3 grains anyway, but damage taken, but 2 herbs? It still would yield blue essence because the chest is dynamic. It won't give an herb in place of blue essence. So this next chest, let's see if I'm in this location. This next chest yields for me 6,000 essence because all of my Devil Way mushrooms are maxed out and because my key gauge is full. If I had an unfull key gauge, the chest would yield 1 single red essence. But the chest doesn't yield mushrooms, so even if I had my key gauge maxed out and my 1 mushroom short of 3, the chest would still yield 1 red essence because that's what it's programmed to give out. So that would be a complete waste. But this here, you see the Life of the Gods, I normally just automatically apply that because I don't save those. I always use them. But what I'm going to do is to use it as a healing item during the fight with the water dragon. And now this is the last confrontation with fish because they're guarding this chest here that either gives you a talisman of rebirth if you don't have one, or 50,000 in essence if you do have one. So I was disposed here to use my Life of the Gods if I were to take any damage over here and fill myself up for the fight, but there's no real reason to since I'm almost filled up anyway. And the Life of the Gods, when you apply it when you have 9, because that was the 9th of 18, our first of 2 upgrades, it's going to give me a complete heal. So the next thing to do is just to go up here, and there's no more fish. You don't have to worry about the fish anymore. Now this is going to give me 50,000 because I already have a talisman, and if I were you, I would not equip the talisman. You don't need it. It's a complete waste to equip it on this boss. He's not hard. So just go over here and get the skull key, and that'll trigger the boss fight. I'll tell you exactly how to defeat him. Okay, now we're on the water dragon. He's not too tough like I mentioned, and he's got 3 main attacks, the first of which he's going to do right away. So you don't have to keep your guard up, but what I'm doing there is that's just part of how I play. I just keep my guard up and then I evade quickly away. Now this particle effect with the ice that he does, you need to evade at the 5 o'clock position to not fall off this platform. And how they expect you to do this with no arrows, it's just beyond me. I mean, there are some, in the Test of Valor, but if you don't go there, there are no arrows. So the Nimpo is hit or miss. Sometimes you'll get about that much, which is all you can basically hope for on this guy. And I'm just throwing the Nimpo, not for iframes, just for more damage off him. You always want to stay to the right, though, because he has a whiplash attack that only affects the left half of this platform. So if you fall off, just try to get up as best you can. Just stick to the right as much as you can, like I said, and do your arrow UTs. Wait till he rises from his descent into the water, and then the timing on those is really hard. I will admit that. This is pretty much all by feel to get the timing correct. I'm going to apply my Life of the Gods for a heal, and I'm also going to reinstate my Devil Way mushrooms, since this is just a very lucrative level for money's sakes anyway. Kind of feel this guy out. If you just need to wait until he makes a move, that's cool, because that's what I do a lot. Just wait for him to make a move, and then I can do my own landing. But make sure it's imperative that you evade at the 5 o'clock position on the map if you're looking at the analog as if it were the face of the clock. So I experienced that manually aiming takes away a little bit more damage, so it's more beneficial to you. I normally run out of arrows, but the thing about that is I'm usually pretty wasteful, so here I'm really conserving my arrows well. and just try not to run out. If you run out, then you're going to have to go in the water with this asshole, and it just doesn't work out until he's in OT status. So there he is, twisting about with his neck. I'm going to just hit him in the face. The body shots, I think those summon the Ghostfish, so just avoid those. They will come out eventually, and I'll show you how to deal with them. There they are right there. I'm not sure what propels them out, but just get charges off of them, and to expedite your next charge, aim right for his face. And there will come a point when he is in OT status. You'll see it. It's very easy to detect. But the thing is, you've got to do your water run over to him very quickly. And when you're over to him, press Y. It's a little hit or miss. So sometimes it just won't work for you. Other than that, just get back on the platform or keep slashing at him, or just throw the Inferno. So there's the particle effect. I'm avoiding at the 5 o'clock position. I'm going to guard, move away real quick. Keep hitting him in the face. He's almost going to be in OT status. There we go. Messed up a little bit. One of those was because I thought he was going under the water. But here he is. Do your water run. Press Y. And that's the end of this guy's life. We'll still be in the water sanctuary in the next video, but I'll see you there. It's chapter 6.